From the brilliant mind of Lin-Manuel Miranda, we are treated to yet another musical from his outstanding body of work. Tonight, we head to the warm summer streets of Washington Heights, New York. With the kaleidoscope of dreams and aspirations throughout the neighborhood, Usnavi reflects on his role in his community that he grew up in. Though this journey we see is pondering with a potential relationship with Vanessa, a local crush within the neighborhood, as well as the commitment to protecting the legacy of his family. With the negotiations of traditions, we see a conflict of cultures in the community. So tonight, let's have a suenito as we do a discussion of sorts on Lin-Manuel Miranda's hit musical, In the Heights. This is a Comic Talkers production, and you are listening to There Are Flights, Endless Debts, and Bills to Pay in the Heights edition of Just Four Flicks. What's going on? It's your boy, Patty B. With me, as always, is Mr. B-Dog. It's Mr. Brandon. How are we doing tonight?
I got more flows than Obi-Wan Kenobi-o. Nah.
Yeah, there's so much good lyric writing in this movie that we're going to talk about.
Dude, that was, one of those favorite lines from that song that I enjoyed.
I'm sure, yeah, absolutely. It's funny. When I heard it originally, I thought of you, and because I knew we were going to be covering it because of the, I had to watch it for research purposes.
Yeah. It's wonderful to be here. This is a movie I pitched to you because, like we've talked about in a previous episode, West Side Story. This is how me and you really bonded. It wasn't through In the Heights; it was through Lin-Manuel Miranda's big project, Hamilton.
Big project. Yeah, Hamilton.
And so when I pitched this to you and went, hey, let's do this because this actually has been made into a movie and it actually is a very good film. Let's do it. And I'm curious to see what your opinion is on this. But before we get into that and talk about things like this, I'm curious, and because I think this would kind of bring up a good point to talk about the movie first off. How much do you think the budget was for this? Or how much do you think the budget was for this film?
Going into this, watching this movie, I was thinking, because I knew you were going to ask me this, like we always do. Always do. I love it. It's like one of the first things you ask every episode, and I love it.
Money!
Gotta get that finance. It's what it's all about, right? The Benjamins.
The Benjamin.
So when I was watching this, I was thinking to myself, with the setting and the way this movie is shot, you can tell like it seems like it's all one set, and they configure it in different ways. So I was thinking, I'm like, budget wise, nowadays it wouldn't be as big of it shouldn't be a big budget. So what I was thinking is, I would say between 50 and 60 million would be my guess.
Okay.
And I feel like that's kind of fair because I feel like a normal movie nowadays is at a minimum $100 million, depending on, traveling to different places or whatever it may be. But like, I just felt for like what this movie was, and it being, you could tell it's when they're doing those street scenes and everything. Like that's one thing that caught my eye. Like when they're all, all the choreograph on the streets in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell like it's all just sectioned to them. So I feel like I don't know what they did, if they got permits to the city or if they used like an actual set and they just did like CGI in the back. It seems like it's all. Is it in a studio?
There's a couple scenes that made that vibe really well.
Yeah,
I think one of the big ones was the pool scene, because there are scenes in that where you can tell that there's a backdrop behind it because it doesn't feel like a real thing. And of course the song at the end of the movie with Nina and Benny when they're singing, when they're walking all over the roof, you knew that was on a set because there was no way they were going to do that in real life.
Yeah.
So, but that's why I said so you're actually in that right range. It is $55 million that the estimated budget was for this film. The profit for this film will show that this actually was a flop, and not by much, but still, it was a flop.
In like technical terms, right? I mean, because it was technically a loss, right?
Yeah, so it was $45 million that it grossed back.
Okay.
So it wasn't a oh my gosh kind of thing like Snow White is right now, right? It was still a pretty decent, okay, but you gotta remember the time frame. People were finally coming back to the theaters because of COVID.
Yeah.
Everything was going on during this time frame. So the expectancy of actually getting that, I think this was one that people were saying, why didn't you just put it out to stream right away?
Well, I think that's funny too, because when I was writing, getting my dislikes for the movie or for the film, that's one thing that kind of stood out to me was I also feel like the marketing for this movie wasn't great. It seemed it wasn't, right? And then I just don't think it makes sense, like what you're saying too with COVID and everything. I didn't put that together with the year that it was made. Was it 21?
21. It was 21 it was released in 21. So 2019, 2020 is when they're in the.
Oh, okay. Because so it could have been filmed in 2019.
Yeah, 2019. That's what it said. It could be 2019, 2020 time frame.
Yeah, that changes a lot too. I mean, especially if they, I think, but anyway, I mean, I just don't think the marketing was great. Because I didn't really hear about this movie until a few years ago.
Yeah.
I think Mrs. Patty B was watching it one night, and I happened to come in, and I'm like, is that, like, I was pointing out all the people from Hamilton. I'm like, is that, such and such? Is that, Lin-Manuel's character, as the ice cream guy?
The shaved ice guy, because what's his face? George Washington.
Yeah, or shaved ice guy.
Yeah, the shaved ice guy. Get it right. It's Mr. Salty, the ice cream guy. Jeez Louise, Pat. No.
Isn't it Pagawa? Or Pagwa?
Yeah.
Pagawa?
Pagawa's ice.
Pagwa.
Chris Jackson was Mr. Softy. Or soft serve.
Okay.
Yeah. And that was the old. And do you get that reference why Lin-Manuel Miranda and Chris Jackson were in the film?
I know.
They were the original actors for the play. So, Anthony Ramos' character, Navi, was Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Yeah.
Benny was played by David Jackson, or Chris Jackson.
Oh, wow.
So both of them were in the play.
That's an awesome connection right there.
And on top of it, then it started their friendship, and what other play were they in? Hamilton.
Alexander Hamilton. There's a million things I haven't done.
Just you wait. But we're not here to sing and serenade to you because
we're not going to be throwing away our shot.
You would turn this podcast off just like that. But let's talk about In the Heights, Pat. What did you enjoy about this film?
Obviously, let's just start with the music here. Absolutely fantastic lyric writing. I mean, this is definitely a soundtrack I'm going to be listening to now. It's definitely going to be in my rotation, I think, for the next few months. There's a couple songs. Like In the Heights, obviously, is my favorite of the whole movie. The opening, one of the opening songs sets the tone. It's kind of like I kind of compare it to, was it Encanto? With Encanto, you know how the beginning song is how she's introducing her whole family.
Yeah,
this kind of introduces the whole neighborhood a little bit. It's just it's 7.5 minutes banger of a song.
Yeah.
Anthony Ramos is, I have to say this, he is one of the more up and coming stars, right? He's in a lot of stuff now, obviously because of Hamilton. He played Hamilton's son.
Yep. Well, he also played Lawrence. Yeah, he played Lawrence also in Hamilton. Remember, he had 2 roles.
That's right. He did play two roles. I love him in Twisters. His part in Twisters is fantastic, and I love his part in Dumb Money. If you
Yeah.
guys haven't seen Dumb Money, I recommend it.
And he's going to be a character in the new Ironheart show coming out from Marvel. He's going to be one of the villains, which is actually pretty interesting.
I think the movie has a perfect pace of musical transitioning into regular scenes, and we've talked about that before on some of the past musical episodes.
Mm-hmm.
It blends well, and I like that too, because it's like you don't feel overwhelmed, or you're not overwhelmed, but I guess you don't get tired easily of
yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah,
like if I wanted to do this, I would just rather just listen to it. You know what I mean? That's how I feel about it sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
The opening, I had written it down here too. The opening scene in the little bodega shop that Usnavi is running. I just love that with him and his little brother, and they're all like,
that's that's his cousin.
His cousin. Sorry, we'll edit that out.
Get
yeah,
it
sorry.
Right, Pat.
Get it right. Get it tight. Get it right. Get it tight. That's in a song, bro.
I know.
Calm down.
That is not part of the song.
Doesn't matter. You can fit it however you want. His no, just the way him and his cousin, like the way they're talking, but obviously it's in the song. His writing for all these songs is just so crisp. Yeah. Every lyric means something. They blend so well. The rap, I mean, that flow, the flow, I think is what it is, right? I mean, you get that same flow, especially with Ramos's character. I mean, he was in Hamilton, right? So, and you get a lot of that feel from how the music is in Hamilton, right?
Yep.
So, I mean, how do you feel about the music in this compared to Hamilton? Do you find it very similar? I mean, obviously there's a lot of the same actors. How many actors do we have? Probably like 5 or 6?
Yeah. So if you're asking me kind of like, do I like how it flows in this one compared to something like Hamilton?
Yeah.
Absolutely. I will agree with you 110%.
Like the music seems very similar is what I'm saying. The way it moves.
But I'll be one to up that a little bit. I feel like with Hamilton, granted, we do get songs and it does flow. So I don't want to hear in the comments that I don't think Hamilton flows. It does. But I feel like this one, the story is a lot better. When you really listen to the rhythm of the music and everything, and I feel like too, and maybe this is just me being nitpicky because I do love history, and there is a lot of stuff in Hamilton that is not historically accurate. I get it, it's for the play, everything like that, but still it's not accurate. But I just feel like maybe this is also coming from Lin-Manuel Miranda's like own experience. So maybe his way of doing things is a lot easier. And on top of it, having that song, like the rhythm of the music, everything going together, but it all tells the same story about these 4 kids and how, like, they were once kids, now they're becoming adults, and now finding their own ways. That, to me, speaks more to me and is more relatable.
Mm-hmm.
That I feel like that music just flows perfectly. I don't feel like I stop for a minute and skip a song like I do in Hamilton. Hamilton, I will skip songs. This one, maybe like 1 or 2, but even then, if I listen to it, I listen to it. I don't.
96,000.
Oh, that is one of my favorite songs.
It's
rhythm of that music going up and down to different genres, jazzy to pop to Latin music. It just gives you that vibe that you're just like it just flows, and it's so well done. That's why I said, like, one of my, like, I love Corey Hawkins' bit. His way of singing is so well done.
I was gonna say, man, that's crazy. I actually had that down as one of my dislikes.
Wow.
I get it. He's a great actor. Like, I'm sorry to break my heart, Fredo. I knew it was you.
I knew it was.
I love him in Straight Outta Compton as Dr. Dre. I think You forget people forget about that. I
I
don't.
do like Corey Hawkins in that movie. I just
It's
feel
great.
like out of all the singers here, him and Leslie Grace have two of the best singing voices here. I will put that
Okay.
out there. Like Corey Hawkins shocked me.
Well, I feel like Anthony Ramos is also more of like a rapper, right? A lot of his stuff is more flow. It's like what we just talked about. It's that flow and rhythm and rapping a little bit. I mean, yeah, you can throw a little bit of a vocal in there and whatnot,
If you
but
listen to his
for the most
actual
part,
real music, it's kind of the same thing, but there's some songs where it's slower beat, but that's usually how Anthony
yeah,
Ramos sings, is a little bit more beat. It's a little bit more going. I'll have to send you a couple songs they do that he has, and it goes like just like he does here. But Corey Hawkins, it's my favorite song with his. I do like his thing in 96,000. I do like that whole rap. Like, I want the brass ring. I want the brass ring like Frodo. Like all just the way
yeah,
that they bounce off each other is really well done. Uh, I like the song where him and Nina are going like if she stays or why he likes her being there and how he's singing while he's hopscotching. That scene, it shows you like his rhythm, even the dispatch scene, right? Where he's in there just doing that like it just flew so well. I enjoyed that.
yeah.
If I had to choose a bad singer, and I hate saying this because I really like her as an actress, I would say Melissa Barrera. I did not
Okay.
like Vanessa and her singing. Like, I just felt like her music to me didn't, and I guess more that's the reason why. It's just her music didn't really hit me as much.
Well, yeah, and it probably wasn't. Also, maybe the songs with her weren't as catchy or big, or did they not stick out to you as much? I mean, I can't say that myself either, right? I mean, I don't think so. That's kind of one character that I found myself not clinging too
Well, I think,
much in the.
but see, that's what's weird to me, right? Because I would say that about her, but I loved everything with Nina. I
Got it.
enjoyed Leslie Grace in this film. This is probably Leslie Grace, and I'll put it out there, and this will be a question I ask later on. It's probably the one character I relate to the most. And my song that I really enjoyed her in is one of her slow songs. It is "Breathe." The first song she sings on her own, I really
Hmm.
enjoyed that song. I thought it just a way it rhythm. It was kind of a nice melody, but it was kind of like that. But even then, it's like I felt myself relating to her more than Vanessa. And I feel like with her, it's like everybody goes through the struggles of Nina, and it's hard to not say you don't see that. Vanessa is just like, okay, she's there kind of thing, and I get it. She's love interest, she's everything like that, but I just don't find myself liking anytime she sings. I like her as an actress, so I'm not bashing on her that way because I think she's a great
Yeah,
actress. This just was, if I had to choose one that kind of was weak in all the main four, she would be the one I'd vote.
gotcha.
But I don't know. That's why I said, like, I would say my top two songs was 96,000, and I would probably put Breathe up there. I do enjoy Breathe. I think that song's really beautiful. It really
Yeah.
is. You could all the Carnival. Like it's just that song too gets me going. Like I love when Lin-Manuel Miranda comes out and starts singing in that song too.
And also, I love how, I mean, obviously, it has that background, that Latin background, right, of the music, and they have it included in a lot of, like, in the Heights, the opening song. There's just a lot. It sounds so good,
It,
and I think like what you were saying too with this movie compared to Hamilton, it kind of it goes better. The flow of it goes better, right? And I think a lot of it has to do with there's a little bit more of you get a different culture music coming in, sounds a little bit different. There's stuff you can work with to make that music sound better, especially songs like that. It just sounds so good. I know. Well, it's just this. I think that's one big thing I took away from this movie is how good the music is, and I can't wait to keep listening to the soundtrack. Like I said, I'm very new to this movie. When you introducing it to me, I've watched it a day ago.
Yeah.
A day ago, and prepped a little bit for it before we got onto it. But
But can I give props to one singer while we're in the talks of like singing vocals and stuff? Hats off to
yeah,
Jimmy Smith. Come on. Like, that dude, he hung in there with them. Like, I can never look at that guy and not think, oh, it's Bail Organa from Star Wars. But I'm just saying, like, he hung in there. He was a good singer.
I thought he did great. That's another guy that Jimmy Smits, man. I think he could. I think you're absolutely right about that. Kind of held his chops there. I always think of him as Nero in
Yep.
Sons of Anarchy. It's either Organa or that right there. It's one. It's A and B basically. But no, I think he held his own on it. I mean, I actually enjoyed his role in this. What do
I
you think?
enjoyed him and Leslie's banter, or Leslie Grace's relationship, like having Nina and him come together, and they were. It's Kevin and Nina. I thought both of them were really well off each other.
Mm-hmm.
A dad who is trying so hard to give his daughter what he never had, and willing to even sell his own business to continue to allow her to go to school. When in reality, Nina is one of those people that goes, I'm one of the ones that did make it out, but I'm not sure if I fit in.
Yeah.
It's such a great story back and forth with these two. And to see how much her dad doesn't want her to give this all up, you see that she struggles with this. It's not something, when you get one of the big scenes to me was when they're at the table and when she says, I was searched on the first day. What a powerful scene.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm going to throw something out. I've talked to Pat before this because the scene that I'm talking about, so there is this Hamilton reference in this film, and it does deal with Jimmy Smith's character, Kevin. When he's calling the school, calling Stanford to try to get updates on it and everything like that to see if what Nina's saying is true. There's a Hold song playing. That is King George III's song from Hamilton. I
gotta go back. I gotta go back and check that out.
It is. When you listen to it, I had to listen to it. I was like, that song sounds familiar. And all of a sudden,
I love hidden Easter eggs like that. That's so fun.
Like
right?
It is. That's why I said I really enjoyed. That's why I said that was one of the key things when I caught it. I was like, oh, dude, I hope Pat catches that because that is such a fun thing to hear. And it was You'll Be Back. So when you listen to that song and the rhythm of it, you know what it is. And it's like, that's clever, I'll give it props. But just those two were the two I related to the most because that's my mom and I. I'm never going to have my mom ever go out on me like that. So I'm willing to do what I have to protect her and help her, And that's why I think I relate it to Nina the most because Nina is my story too, And so, but like Usnavi. Now I figure we kind of go into the Usnavi a little bit.
Yeah.
Being the main character, how'd you like how he got his name? That thing made me laugh. My dad looked at a boat and he said, that's going to be my son's name one day, and it's U.S. Navy.
I'm pretty sure I've heard that joke before, too. I don't know. Remember Mind of Mencia?
Yes.
I feel like that was on an episode of Mind of Mencia.
But that's why I said it's just a fun... Usnavi's an interesting character. Like, I agree with you. That first song, I actually pretty much enjoy with him the most. But also, you can see, like, even after Abuela passes away, right? Abuela Claudia, right? When she passes away in this film, spoiler alert, Abuela Claudia does not make it past an hour and 15 minutes in this film. I think like his motives turn because, mind you, if you guys haven't seen this, his motives is to go back to the Dominican Republic, is to go back to where his dad had his life, and he's on the verge of doing that. He was going to take Abuela Claudia and his cousin Sonny with him, but I don't think Sonny was going to go with him. And that was kind of the thing that I kind of got little mixed feelings on with that, because I thought he was going to go with him. And then when it came later, it's like, oh no, he's not going with him now. And there was a couple times where I'm like, okay, is he going with him or is he not? Because when you get the song from the Carnival song, right? He says, oh, well, he's leaving and leaving me. It's like, aren't you going with him?
Yeah.
But Usnavi, but I feel like his change of heart came from Claudia, right? But it's also because maybe he feels like he needs to step up into this role. Everybody relied on Abuela Claudia, right? Now everybody relies on him. And everybody knows Usnavi's got a good heart and is in the right place. You know, if it wasn't for that, Vanessa wouldn't have her apartment like she has, because he went to one of the salon people. I'm trying to get the name here. Daniela, and asked her to co-sign with it, so she could get her apartment, her dream. You know, that's why I said like just having those moments. I feel like with this play, and especially with Usnavi and Benny, they are everyday people. You and I.
Yep.
Like having like, go, are you going to ask her out kind of thing? Like everything a young guy is going to think, right? Ask her out, do this, do that, get her attention. You know,
I like that one scene with Benny on the microphone, his song like that he does on the microphone in that stand right there.
Yeah.
And it was kind of fun, and that was one that kind of stood out to me because like what you're saying, it kind of blended in with everyday people within that, like people acting normal. It was just such a good traditional musical, like how you see like traditional Broadway is, like movies from the 50s, how they were, or 60s, with that traditional musical way of blending in well, and I don't know, you know what I'm talking about, like how everyone's so smooth with it and everything.
I agree. It's just a really good rhythm play. Like it's you get that story. I think I was reading comments on why people didn't care for it. Part of it was the lack of storytelling at points, because it just felt like some things were rushed. And I'll give you that stuff there. Like, I'll agree with you there on certain parts. But I wouldn't say that was the reason people were saying was the lack of star power in this film. I could see that too, but even then, it wasn't like Lin-Manuel Miranda is a huge name. And when you have his play coming to the screen and he's a part of it, it's kind of hard to say, oh yeah, this is not going to be good. The movie was good. But what are other points that you enjoyed about the film?
I kind of saw a few similarities. I want to see if you think the same, but did it kind of seem certain aspects of this felt like West Side Story? I know obviously it's set in New York. You have Usnavi and Vanessa, how there's a little bit of a tension there between them, right, with their families and whatnot, right?
Well, it's not so much their families. There's no rivalry between anything with them. It's just there's that sexual tension. They want each other. Well, like they even say in the Carnival song, right? The sexual thing is true. You know, it explains a lot. Those two like each other. But I think it's because you got to remember, too, I don't look at it like that. I look at it as they're at two different parts of their life. Vanessa's trying to be what she wants to be, right? But she's struggling.
Look at
Usnavi.
Look at me trying to make something out of nothing here with the whole West Side Story.
I'm just saying, like, I get where you're coming from, but I think that's really one of the only things I look at it personal-wise. Like, it's just more, it's in New York. I don't look at any of the rivalries because all of them get along really well.
Yeah.
So
no one dies, and I guess someone does.
Abuela Claudia does pass away, but I'm curious now. Why did you think? I know you said it was in New York and stuff, but why did you feel?
Well, I don't know. It just got that feel with how some of the music is. I guess it is and it isn't. It's two completely different. I mean, dude, what do you think about West Side Story? Is almost 70 years old. I mean, it will be, or it's 60 years old. Yeah, no, it'll be 70 years old in 5 years.
64 right now. Correct.
Well, yeah, yeah. So anyway, yeah, it's over 60 years old. There's just a lot of differences with it. Maybe it is that whole New York vibe to it. I was just thinking maybe they got some kind of, maybe when Lin-Manuel wrote it, maybe he got a little bit of inspiration from certain things of it. Because also, like with the whole, I really like the production sets of this film and how everything was structured, especially with the neighborhood. It felt it felt like you were in New York. I don't know. I've never been to Washington Heights, New York. So I'm sure that's what it's like, or I'm a part of it. I don't know, but it just felt like especially I watched this on my big TV. It felt like certain parts I felt like I was like in the neighborhood with them, if that makes sense, just because of how well the set was done, I think, personally.
Okay, yeah, that's why I said, like, I get where you're coming from, but yeah, anything else outside the set design and things like that, I don't.
I mean, we have all those set designs that we talked about in West Side Story. I don't know if that's a similar thing to it. I mean, there's so much you can do when it's set in the city of New York, right?
Well, yeah,
the way everything is supposed to look. I'll just stop talking.
I was gonna be mean and say it's like saying Batman Returns is a Christmas film, but I'm not gonna do that right now because I don't want to go back on that trance a little bit.
It is.
No, it's not.
Clearly, it's still bothering you.
Yeah,
so.
I was talking with Ty the other day about it, and he's like, "Where the heck is he getting that from?" Like, there's a Christmas tree lighting. He goes, "Okay, so." We're gonna call Harry Potter a Christmas movie because there's a Christmas tree lighting there too, and I'm like,
no, it's throughout the whole year. This whole movie takes place during Christmas.
I'm not
having that
conversation. I'm not even having that conversation.
Yeah, because it's true.
No, it's not.
It's true.
No, it's not.
I'd love to talk about that with you and Ty. Maybe on an episode. Maybe we can get down to the nitty gritty. Maybe that would be, folks. Vote, or let's put a poll. We should put a poll out to see do you want us to use for one of our Christmas episodes this year, is Batman Returns a Christmas movie? Just how we did Die Hard last year, we should do Batman Returns this year to piss off B-Dog.
That will be my very last episode with the podcast. So,
stop it! Get out of here! Get out of here! You little baby, you. We got 6 months to really.
You're trying to do the whole Anchorman thing, like you got poo mouth, poopy mouth.
Yeah, poop out your mouth.
Hey, poop.
They want Ron's blood.
Ew.
Why would you say that, Ron?
Ew. But let's go into now. I know one of your dislikes now, so I'm curious to see why you dislike Corey Hawkins.
I don't know. I just felt some of his stuff felt kind of stale to me. I don't know. It felt like whatever. Like, I know we just talked about how I did like certain parts of his scene in the what was it when he was doing the whole, I forget that song with the whole mic
with Nina.
With Nina, yeah. I don't know. I just felt like I get what you're saying with he did do well singing wise, but I don't know. I just felt like I didn't connect with him much, and his character was whatever to me. I really like Anthony Ramos' character compared to his. I think that's one of my favorite characters. Besides, I'm just going to refer to him as Senator.
That's the name of the song.
Yeah. Senator Organa's also, like I talked about. I'm just going to refer to him as Senator Organa. I don't know, man. I like Corey Hawkins. I like his work. Like I said, I loved I loved him as he's Dr. Dre in Straight Outta Compton. But yeah, no, I don't know. It's just one thing that stood out to me that was like whatever. I do wish the movie was shorter. That's another thing that
Really?
we
Like,
talked about.
I felt it was
Yeah,
fine.
it doesn't need to be 2 hours and 23 minutes.
I thought it was okay. I didn't get bugged by that because when you watch
I
it,
probably have to watch it again. It'll change, but
well, I think
you know me. Whenever we,
I think for me, I think because that movie flows so well, I don't feel like I'm watching a 2.5 hour movie. I feel like I'm watching a good maybe hour and 45 minute movie because I don't. I think with that movie, it flows so well that I don't get bugged by the time. I'm just watching it.
yeah,
I think that's why. But
another, and this is a minor dislike, but I wish I got more from Lin-Manuel's character. But I get his character, what it's supposed to be. It's kind of like he's kind of like a storyteller with inside the kaleidoscope of the community. It feels like, right?
right, and I agree with you there. Like I feel like with this, it's. I feel like with the movie, it doesn't bug me as much with that because I feel like I was kind of happy he took on one of the smaller roles. He didn't take on a big role. He took on a
Mm-hmm.
small role. And I was glad about that. Him and Chris Jackson both. I was happy that took small roles just to kind of pay tribute to what they did. Kind of like Wicked did, right? Wicked had the main two actors from the original play as two small roles in Wicked. Kind of the same thing they did here in the Heights.
In the Heights.
But that's why I said like this movie. The only dislikes I would say is again Vanessa was probably one of my dislikes, and it's not a negative thing. I just out of all the characters, I just went okay. Like how you felt about Corey Hawkins is kind of how I felt with Vanessa, with Melissa. I just didn't with Melissa, who's the actress's name. I just did not. I just kind of felt her bland. I just felt like I didn't feel like it was coming from the heart with her music. Like I felt with Leslie Grace. Which
I got you.
Which still hashtag justice for Batgirl because she would have been our Batgirl. And she never got it. Which sucks. But let's go back into this. Like I really didn't have any gripes about the movie. I think Vanessa was my only gripe. I just feel like there could have been a better actress for that.
I got you.
And I get it. It just I don't really have like I love the salon ladies, okay? Those three make me laugh. Like
They are fun.
and talking about Encanto, like you've already talked about, Stephanie Beatriz is in it, who plays the main character in Encanto. Is in The Heights. She's the salon.
Wow.
She's the tall salon lady. She's the Carla, I think is her name.
And who does she play in Encanto again?
She's the main character.
Okay, Mirabelle.
Mm-hmm. It's been a long time since I've watched Encanto because I didn't want to watch it all
This is our home. We got
with
every
Carla.
generation.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Carla is her name. Mm-hmm. That's what I said. She like she has my favorite part in the Carnival song, right? I like that song so well because it's like you said, you want a mixture of cultures. That and 96,000 are the best two to go.
$96,000.
Dollars. It was it? Or how did the one guy said 96,000? I never win shit. Like it's just
that's how I feel. That's how I feel like when I do scratchers, the lottery, anything like that. Never win shit. And someone will win like $5. I'm like, what?
Now, let me ask you this: what was your take on the twist at the end? That Abuela Claudia is the one that had the winning lottery ticket.
I think it's kind of cool. It was like it's almost like her like last gift before it's like. Do you think she knew?
Well, you got to remember part of the talk with Usnavi was that she wasn't taking her heart medication.
Gotcha.
That was part of the conversation that he found out that she was not taking her medicine. So that was part of it. But that's why I said, like, I kind of agree. It was kind of like, and I think it speaks volumes too, because in that 96,000, she is the only one that's really not present, other than Jimmy Smith's character, Kevin
Yeah.
Rosario.
Mhm.
You don't see him either. Kevin and Abuela Claudia, you don't see at all in that song. I kind of like, I was kind of happy, and I think that twist at the end kind of made him also have another heart, because now he knows for Sonny, it's more important to get that citizenship and allow him to go to school and everything. That whole last scene with him and Nina, or Sonny and Nina, when they're at that protest, and then you see, like, even Nina goes, now I know what I need to do with my life. And helping.
I want to go home and rethink my life.
Go home and rethink my life now. But those are just fantastic moments in this film, and I feel like that was kind of like, it speaks volumes on what he did, because he could have just kept that all for himself and said screw it, but he did it. He invested it and helped out with others and did whatever he could to help others, and I was always happy about that. Okay, so now here's my question to you: what is your least favorite song from this film?
Probably that. What's that dude's song?
There's a lot of dudes.
Benny's song.
You didn't like Benny's Dispatch?
No, I didn't like Benny's. It just felt cheesy. That's what it was. I don't know. Maybe
it's, you like the one where he's in the office that he float. I thought you said you liked that song. Like,
I like the sequences within the scene. I don't like the song. That makes sense.
I thought that was clever how they did it.
I bet you do, and I'm not hating on it.
You
asked for my dislike, I'm giving it to you. No, I don't know. I don't know. And I think that's one thing that stood out to me the most was just, I don't know. It just felt stale. It felt felt like whatever to me. I wasn't like blown back by it. It felt like him being in this movie was like, oh, this is a guy I haven't seen since like Straight Outta Compton, and he's in this movie randomly. That's how I felt like seeing him in this. Because I can't think of one of the maybe the Kong movie. He was in that was a great movie, by the way. The Kong Skull Island with John C. Reilly in it.
That's Skull Island.
Yeah, that's a great movie.
That's him and Tom Hiddleston and John Goodman, and then Brie Larson's in that film, and Samuel Jackson.
It's stacked cast, and John C. Reilly. Yeah, guys, I'm kind of stuck on the island.
That just sounds like Seth Rogen.
Pat Mahomes.
No, that also, like, you said it.
Yeah, man, State Farm. Good sponsor.
Travis was all the way.
Yeah, man, my guy Trav. I got another daughter on the way. We'll try another one. I got like 5.
So you want me to tell you my song that I do not stand in this film?
There's 2 songs.
Okay. The first one's going to be a shock, because it is one of the more upbeat songs in this film. Mm-hmm. It is the club song.
In the club.
When they're in the club singing, doing the dancing. I didn't care for that song. I get it. I didn't. I felt like it just did not fit well with the movie.
Mm-hmm.
The other one I didn't care for, I could say, or Panciani Fe. I didn't care for that either. But I'm not going to put it that low, because I understand the purpose of that song. Mm-hmm. And I feel like for this play, it was needed. I would say that and No Me Diga, the one they're singing the "Tell Me Something I Don't Know." I didn't like that song either. That kind of got on my nerves a little bit. But I would say the club and that is the 2 that I kind of went, okay, I don't care for this. Like, I could skip those songs and I'd be totally fine.
Yeah.
Like, I get it. Both, like, the club, not so much, but No Me Diga, I understand it does reveal a lot about not only Nina, but also a lot about Vanessa that's going on. So that's what I said. And champagne. If I hear, you owe me a bottle of cold champagne, I swear I'm going to hate that song. I can't stand that. When it's like, you owe me a bottle of cold champagne. Damn that.
I'm gonna play it now for
No,
you.
don't. Please don't. For the love of God.
I'm gonna make a B-Dogs playlist and play it.
No, please don't.
Send it to you.
No, don't.
It'll be our thing.
But what? Okay, so were there
Be
other
our love
things you
language.
wanted to talk about regarding this film?
No, all in all, I mean, I know we'll get into we'll probably get into our ratings here in a few seconds, but no, I just think all in all, I'm glad we covered it, man. This was fun. It was a fun musical to watch. Like, it's not a boring musical. It's not this. We just talked a lot about a lot of the songs. A lot of the songs are enjoyable. Some, I think, just depends on opinions and taste and everything. But for the most part, I do think the story, and I think them trying to tie in the culture and traditions and all that stuff, I love it. I see what they're doing, and I can appreciate it. I hope Lin-Manuel just keeps pumping these things out.
Well, now he's
Whether
doing
it be,
stuff for Disney, and now he's doing stuff like
yeah, he did the Moana. He did songs for Moana, and a bunch of other
yeah, he
stuff
just
too.
did Wish. He did a couple of Wish was a flop, but again, another movie with a star actress from Hamilton in that film, Ariana DeBose.
You're like, see the trend?
But you got to remember, I think with him, and you got to remember, Lin-Manuel Miranda, a lot of people have credited him to kickstarting their career. Leslie Odom Jr. has stated that, even though Leslie Odom Jr. had a life before that, and he was a singer, if it wasn't for Lin-Manuel Miranda, he wouldn't have an acting career. And look what he's been doing since, right? I think he was even nominated for Best Supporting Actor at one point. That shows you how, Devon Diggs is also a bigger name actor because of him. All these actors and actresses that were in it, some already had notable histories, right? But for most of the newer ones, like Anthony Ramos, of course, credit Miranda for all that. And, and I give him a lot of props. Like I said, it shows you how, not even just how tight knit he is with everybody he's worked with. And I think that's what speaks more volumes in the long run.
He seems kind of like a loyal guy too. I also think he knows this movie was fantastically casted.
Yeah.
I don't think we can deny that, right? I mean,
even if it's not star-studded, it was still a great cast.
No, and it didn't have to be like having a couple famous, people that, Jimmy Smits. When I saw Jimmy Smits in this, I was like, oh, I did the whole Rick Dalton,
Bill Organa,
yeah. But no, I just thought it was fantastically casted. Like I said, I can't talk enough good things about Anthony Ramos. I can't wait to see him in more films. He's fantastic. The dude's entertaining. He seems like a super nice guy in real life. You can just tell like the energy people give off. Mm-hmm. He just seems like a good dude.
But I think you bring up a good point, and I think it's time for us to move to our rankings. Pat, on a scale of, I'm trying to find a clever way to do this time, right? On a scale of 1 to 10 cold champagnes, where are you putting?
I like the movie. I don't like it too much.
Where are you putting?
I'm giving it.
What numbers are you giving on your lottery ticket?
You say cold champagnes? That's the term that we're using. I'm gonna use. I don't want this to discourage the movie or the way I like the movie, but I don't love it. And with that being said, I'm gonna give it 5.6 cold champagnes.
That's so low.
Hamilton's a whole nother story for me, but we'll get into that to another day.
I'm giving this at least a solid 8. 8.0. I feel like this movie is rewatchable. I actually find myself rewatching this more than Hamilton. And I like Hamilton. Don't get me wrong. I just feel like this rhythm of the music, it fits my vibe a lot more. It just really is a good play overall. And I don't find myself lacking. I feel the story's easygoing. It's just a really good play. I'm giving it a solid 8.0. I feel like it deserves it. The music works well. The actors were perfectly cast, even though Vanessa, maybe I would have given to somebody different. But she wasn't terrible when she had to do her stuff. Just not my cup of tea. Leslie Grace is the unsung hero to me in this movie. I feel like she is. If it's not Usnavi, it's her. That's the main character. It's got to be one of the two.
Yeah.
I don't look at Vanessa as a main character, and I don't look at Benny as a main character. I look at Nina and Usnavi as the main two.
The Nina, the Usnavi, the Santa Maria.
But that's what I said. I think this is a great way to. Oh,
way to ignore me.
I got it. I was already in the talks of doing it, but
You like you child.
pathetic.
Don't have enough time for you, children.
Be gone.
The adults are speaking.
The adults are speaking. But I think this is a great way to go out and In the Heights. Fans, let us know what you guys think about In the Heights. How would you rank it on a scale of 1 to 10 cold champagnes? Let us know what you loved, what you didn't love. Is this better than Hamilton, or is Hamilton better than In the Heights? Let us know in the comments. You can check us out, J4F Podcast, on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at J4F Podcast. Also, check us out for Just for Flicks on Spotify and YouTube. If you're watching this on YouTube and you like this content, hit that like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and hit that bell notification so you never miss an episode.
Ding, 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 ding.
Without further ado, I turn it over to Patty B to take us out.
Yeah, thank you guys for everything as always. Thank you, B Dog, for being my main man, my right hand man. Absolutely. And remember, we do it just for flicks.
I was gonna say, and remember, we got more flow than Obi-Wan Kenobi.
In the Heights.